Have both games covered, and as we check the mood of both college towns, we begin with Michael Kay, who gives us the lowdown of this battle of unbeatens in Knoxville.
It will be no easy task for Arkansas when they walk into the stadium behind me on Saturday. A sea of orange and white ready to greet them. But more importantly, the vaunted #1 Tennessee Volunteers. But Arkansas, not scared. 8-0 itself, 10th ranked as well, and strong on both sides of the ball. It should be very interesting if the confidence overcomes the respect.
I think they have a little bit more talent over there at Tennessee. Is obviously because they're #1 in the nation. You know, you have to have a lot of talent to be ranked #1 in the nation. But our guys are up for the challenge, and they're going to be prepared this week to try to go down there and give those guys a game.
As good as Tennessee is, as good a football team as there is, our kids feel good about our team and about this Razorback team. And confidence has a lot to do with everything. And they believe in themselves, believe in each other, and that'll go a long way.
Hey, it's going to take more than confidence for Arkansas to knock off Tennessee, ranked #1 for the first time since 1956. The Razorbacks have a couple of things going against them. 107,000 crazies will be in the yard, and also a forecast of rain, which could shut down the Hogs' passing game. This game obviously has some national championship implications, as does the one in Manhattan, Kansas, and Lauren Sanchez is there for us now.
Thanks, Michael. It's being called the biggest game ever to be played in Manhattan. Kansas State versus...
Find our regularly scheduled program already in progress.
Receptions in big games. It would have been an excellent catch, but he hit him in the hands.
4 wide receivers in for Sterner now on 3rd down and 12. Madre Hill, the lone back.
This is the playbook formation we just drew up right here.
Sterner, flush from the pocket, throws on the run, deep down the middle, and it is incomplete. Intended for Emmanuel Smith for a CBS News special.
Good afternoon from CBS News World Headquarters in New York.
Arkansas punted down to the Tennessee 7-yard line. And on the second play from scrimmage for Tennessee, Travis Stevens fumbled. He was stripped by Zach Painter. DJ Cooper recovered at the 25. Madre Hill a couple of carries to get him at this point to the 14-yard line. And now on 1st and 10 from the 14, that was Hill again, leveled by Raynoch Thompson. Let's go back and look at the fumble by Travis Stevens caused by Painter.
Zach Painter, 37, he knifes in from the side, and oftentimes when you come in from the side on a running back, it jars the ball loose. That's exactly what happened. Arkansas, a very quick, aggressive team up front, gets to that fumble.
Out of that pile came DJ Cooper. So now Clint Sterner has them 2nd and 11. They've not been a great red zone team, below the national average in scoring touchdowns. Here comes Sean Ellis. Sterner throws, caught. Emmanuel Smith breaks a tackle. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Came out on a little bootleg pass. It hit Emmanuel Smith in the flat. It was a huge counter play to kind of slow down that Tennessee defense.
His first touchdown of the season. The junior from Clinton, Mississippi. Todd Latterette adds the extra point. He's perfect in PATs this year, 34 for 34.
Here's the bootleg.
Arkansas with the early lead, and history made by Clint Sterner, the junior quarterback. That touchdown pass is 19th of the season, and that moves him out of a tie with Quinn Grovey for the single-season Arkansas touchdown pass record. Grovey threw 18 back in 1990, and now Sterner has that mark all to himself. Quinn Grovey's here today. He's one of the Arkansas Radio Network.
Had a chance to visit with him before the game. He reminded me of the UCLA-Arkansas game in the Cotton Bowl in '88.
When you beat him up pretty good.
We beat him up pretty good. We had a great day on defense that day, and Troy Aikman had a nice day. We shut him out 17-0. And Troy Aikman, when you have him on your team, you ought to win.
Todd Latterette kicks off. And Peerless Price returns it from the goal line. Good return out to the 30. DeAndre Berry made the tackle. Antrea Moss also in on the stop, a 30-yard return. The NFL on CBS tomorrow. It begins at 1 Eastern. All tomorrow on CBS. Travis Henry back in at tailback after the big fumble by Travis Stevens. Deflected pass, and that one is incomplete and almost intercepted by Zach Painter. C.J. McLean knocked it down, and Zach Painter almost picked it off.
Well,
Characteristic early mistakes by Tennessee. A costly penalty on roughing the punter. And now Martin not picked up the blitz. Quentin Caver sacked him. Another key mistake.
They're quicker. They're not as big, but they are really fast up front.
Now third down and long. They need to get to the 40. He's going for longer than that and has a man open. Cedric Wilson. Down at the 25-yard line.
Cedric Wilson is a Tennessee Volunteer who certainly has come up big lately. He's got 19 catches on the year, averages over 15 yards. He just runs straight down the field. Orlando Green, 21, just gets beat on the coverage. Wilson does a good job of concentrating on the ball and then makes a nice run after the catch.
A 50-yard gain. Wilson's really come on in recent weeks. He was not a featured receiver early. 2 receptions in the first 4 games, 17 over the last 4. After the pick of the 50, Martin sacked again. Back at the 33, Ryan Hale credited with second down and 18. 7-0 Arkansas with just more than 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Here comes the blitz again. And the pass intended for Wilson, incomplete, out of bounds, with David Barrett in coverage.
Arkansas continues to just bring as much pressure as possible on T. Martin. This is the most pressure certainly that T. Martin has been under since the Florida game for sure. And Tennessee's trying to adjust with 3-step drops. They're trying to get rid of the ball quickly. They're also trying to make sure when they get over on the sideline that those gaps are covered by either linemen or running backs so that penetration doesn't continue to affect the offensive team.
3 wide receivers on 3rd and 18. Wilson, Price, and Copeland. Short drop. Quick throw up for grabs. Intended for Copeland, incomplete. Again, David Barrett in coverage. You're talking about the line play coach in an interesting matchup in this game. The defensive coordinator.
We're going to get after you. And Mike Berry probably coaches offensive linemen as aggressively and as good as anybody in the country.
Jeff Hall trying a 49-yard field goal and hit the upright. One of the best kickers in the nation, Hall, the senior from Winchester, Tennessee, had plenty of leg from 49 on a wet field, but it hit the upright, and not much has gone right for the #1 team in the nation to this point. Still 7-0 Arkansas in the first quarter in Knoxville. .303 left in the first quarter. Sean McDonough with Terry Donahue and Mike Mayock at sold-out Neyland Stadium, more than 107,000. A little bit anxious, most of them right now, as the #1 team in the country is down by a touchdown after a 14-yard touchdown pass from Clint Sterner to Emmanuel Smith. Michael Williams, one in motion. Sterner comes out throwing. Flag thrown. Catch made by Michael Williams, out of bounds at the 38-yard line. It's a holding call against Arkansas. It'll negate a 5-yard gain. Let's get an update on Eric Westmoreland, who was injured on the Arkansas touchdown play. Here's Mike. 28.
Sean, the remarkable Arkansas turnaround has been propelled to some extent by the fact that they're such a better running team this year than a year ago. They're rushing for over 100 yards per game more this year than they did a year ago.
They were the worst rushing team in Division 1A football last year, and problems on that running play. They tried to hand it to the fullback, Nathan Norman. There is another flag down to the line of scrimmage. Sterner's not used to handing it to Norman. He's had just 4 carries all year, and this is what we're talking about.
Ball start. Exactly that. And that's helped him offensively. It's helped keep his defense off the field. It's helped make his team tough, and consequently, they're undefeated at this stage.
Crowd roaring now after the illegal motion penalty makes it 1st and 34. Back at the 9-yard line. Sterner from the goal line going deep. Flag thrown. Lucas has it. Out of bounds at the 47-yard line. He beat Steve Johnson, who might have been guilty of holding Lucas, and even then it wasn't enough to stop a 38-yard gain. There's 4 yards to go for a first down, and they got it on a 38-yard gain. Sterner, 3 out of 8 for 55 yards and 1 touchdown. Smith in motion. Madre Hill banged down by Fred White, the strong safety, after a gain of 1.
Arkansas has kind of an unusual design. The fullback lines up only 3.5 yards from the line of scrimmage. He's tighter linebackers. And one of the things in studying Arkansas is the depth of that fullback has definitely been a big advantage for their team this year.
Play action fake by Sterner. Looking deep, throwing deep, looking for Emmanuel Smith, and he has it at the 7-yard line. For the touchdown, that 45-yarder, as Arkansas inside the 10 again, just inside the 8-yard line. First and goal. And Hill stopped for a loss. Penetration by Raynoch Thompson. Bear in mind, just seconds ago, Arkansas was backed up to its own 9-yard line, looking at first and 34.
Those 2 big passes, how dramatic the field position has changed so quickly. And one of the things Tennessee has to do right now is just not fold under all this pressure. You know, they're the #1 team in the country, and this underdog Arkansas team has come out and they're so fast and so aggressive. You just need to keep playing hard. It's a long, long game.
Sterner in trouble. Lofts it up into double coverage. It's intercepted by Deion Grant.
Sterner hasn't made many mistakes this year. He's only had 5 interceptions on the year, but this was a mistake. He's in a scramble. He needs to pull the ball down, fight back to the line of scrimmage, or throw it away. He clearly throws into double coverage. Deion Grant, one of the best safety men in the country, goes up high and takes that ball for the interception. Deion Grant has made play after play for Tennessee.
That's his 3rd interception of the year. Travis Henry carries out to the 24-yard line. Clint Sterner last year had a big problem with interceptions, in part because he was under pressure so often. But last year he threw 13 interceptions, and he says the biggest difference this year is I've learned to throw the ball away. Well, that's a lesson he didn't remember well enough that time.
Well, you know, it's funny when you get under that pressure of the game and all that kind of stuff. But this guy's done a great job avoiding those interceptions all season.
Henry tried to get outside and could not. He was banged out of bounds at the 25-yard line by DeAndre Berry. And it'll be 3rd down and 5. And the clock is running, and it should not be. The officials now finally getting to stop the clock, but Henry went out of bounds at the 25-yard line. A lot of time right off the clock, and the officials are going to huddle now.
John, there's just no question that the intensity of the game from up here just feels like Arkansas came out on fire. And they were so quick and so aggressive, both with their defense and their offensive teams. And they got Tennessee a little bit on their heels. But as I stated, you know, you played for 60 minutes. Philip Fulmer and Tennessee, they're ranked #1 for a reason. They've been in tough games. They know how to come back. And I think they just need to get their team settled down and play to the intensity of the game.
That was a huge interception.
Oh, huge, huge right there. Arkansas has a chance to go up minimum 10, maybe 14 to nothing. That was a great play by Deion Grant and a very bad play by Clint.
And he put 11 seconds back on the clock. 21 left in the quarter. Martin with a defender at his feet throws incomplete for Peerless Price. Martin has absolutely no time to throw. And Tennessee will have to punt again.
The pressure that Arkansas...
Leverton punting for the 3rd time in the quarter. Rossi Morreale got away from it. Sean Bryson again downfield at the 38-yard line. A 36-yard punt with no return. Get complete college football coverage on CBS Sportsline. Log on Tuesday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time to chat live with College Football Today analyst Lou Holtz at cbs.sportsline.com on the web and AOL. Of course, Lou Holtz the former Arkansas coach. And Houston Nutt says Lou was one of the real influences on his career. Gave him a chance to get into coaching as a graduate assistant coach at the University of Arkansas. Chris Chikuma now at tailback in place of Madre Hill. And he is met immediately by Al Wilson. No gain on the play on the final play of the first quarter. At the end of one quarter, the score, Arkansas 7 and Tennessee nothing. We'll return to Neyland Stadium after these messages and a word from your local station. Ranked number 10 in the nation. Leads 7-0. And the Hogs begin the second quarter with 2nd and 11 from their own 38-yard line. Hunt Sterner throwing the one-on-one coverage. What a catch by Lucas! Anthony Lucas down the sideline, and he scores!
Anthony Lucas just uses that great speed. This is a guy that's averaging over 26 yards per reception coming into this game. Steve Johnson is pressed up there in man-to-man coverage. Lucas gets off, and it's just a great throw. And he goes up, uses his athletic talent, and pulls it away from Johnson for the touchdown. And Clint Sterner redeems himself after that costly interception with that great touchdown throw.
62 yards to Lucas, the junior from Toledo, Louisiana. Todd Latterette adds the extra point. Arkansas leads 14-0. One play into the second quarter. The touchdown catch by Anthony Lucas. Touchdown reception of this season. That ties the single season record held by Chuck Dicus and Derek Russell. Here's Derek Edmonds running back Latterette's kickoff. And excellent field position for the balls, and they need it at the 45-yard line. Sean McDonough with Terry Donahue, coach Tennessee, #1 in the country this week for the first time in 42 years, where they're making all kinds of mistakes, not typical of them this season, and certainly not characteristic of the #1 team.
Well, up until today, they've been a mistake-free football team, but they've had a turnover already, a roughing the punter. They've given up a number of big plays. Steve Johnson, number 34, the defensive back, has been picked on and given up 3 big passes, so they've got a real problem matching up against Arkansas.
We mentioned during the starting lineups, the coaches were praising Johnson for his steady play all year. T. Martin throws an interception to Zach Painter. Again, the pressure forced a hurried throw, and Zach Painter has his team-leading 4th interception of the year.
Tennessee tried to come on a misdirection pass. They wanted to fake a play fake one way, come back on the misdirection.
What a season for Painter. Moved from cornerback to the rover position this year, and he has really responded. Madre Hill with the carry on first down. They started at the 46, and he... Draw to Madre Hill, and nothing there. Stopped at the line of scrimmage again by Al Wilson. Well, Tennessee, as we mentioned, 6th in the nation in turnover margin, best in the SEC coming into today. And they've already turned it over twice. They have taken it away once on the Deion Grant interception in the end zone. Michael Snowden in at wide receiver. Number 27 out wide with Michael Williams. Sterner setting up a screen to Madre Hill. And Eric Westmoreland back in the game after leaving earlier with an injury. Made a big play because that looked like a promising screen when Hill caught the ball.
There's no question Westmoreland played off the block of the Arkansas offensive lineman and makes his play. And as you said, John, this was going to go for another big Arkansas play. 42 right there, Westmoreland. Good play by him, using his hands, coming around the block and making that play.
4th down. They left their defense in here thinking there might be a fake from Aiken. Deion Grant, the deep man for the punt. And Aiken does the job again. That's the second that he's had go out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. They'll mark this one at the 9, a 32-yard punt. CBS Sports coverage of NASDAQ Amex College Football will continue after this word from your local station. Tennessee has been dominated by Arkansas to this point. The Volunteers begin at their own 9-yard line, 1st and 10. Travis Henry is the tailback. Following the block of Sean Bryson, Henry breaks free. Razorbacks trying to strip the ball. They couldn't get it out, and Henry carried them all the way to the 34-yard line, a 25-yard gain. Harry Wilson and Kenoy Kennedy made the stop.
Sean Bryson makes a key block. The fullback, number 24, he's the one that opens the hole. This is a very important drive for Tennessee. They need to kind of slow down the pace a little bit and get back to basics, what they do best, which is pound away at you with their running game and then mix in their throwing game. The pace has been a little too quick for Tennessee thus far.
Straight ahead, Henry. Out to the 40-yard line. Here's Mike Mayock.
Well, Sean, you and Terry have been talking about the USC connection between Coach Burns, the defensive coordinator at Arkansas, and Mike Barry, the offensive line coach here at Tennessee. I asked Coach Burns before the game, do you have any words of advice for your old co-coach? He said, yeah, tell him max protection is the key because we're bringing the kitchen sink. We're not going to leave anything in the playbook. And Terry and Sean, you can certainly see that's happened.
One of the other things Tennessee needs to consider, the shotgun. Get away from some of that pressure a little bit.
Will Bartholomew, now the fullback, leading the way for Travis Henry, and he has another first down. Out to the 46-yard line, J.J. Jones and Kenoy Kennedy on the stop for Arkansas, but finally the crowd brought to life by the Tennessee offense.
Now, Travis Henry is a powerful running back. You're talking about a guy that's 220 pounds. He gets better as the game keeps rolling on, and this guy can get going that Tennessee offensive running game that they need so desperately to help take pressure off of T. Martin in the passing game.
Henry's had 100-plus in 2 of the last 3 games, and more than 100 against UAB and Alabama. Martin's pass incomplete. Thrown down the hash marks. Looking for Jermaine Copeland. David Barrett had coverage with Kenoy Kennedy.
Although it was an incompletion, it did have some significance because T. Martin had a lot of time to throw. That, because of the running game, got going there, and it took some of that pressure off him, so he had plenty of time to get back there and get his feet set.
Nowhere near the numbers that Martin has been posting in recent weeks. In South Carolina, 2 games ago, he completed his first 23 passes to break the NCAA single-game record of 22 in a row by Chuck Long of Iowa against Indiana in '84. Steady rain falling on Neyland Stadium, making it that much more unpleasant for the Tennessee fans. Volunteers on the move, 2nd and 10 now at their own 46-yard line. Martin's pass dropped by Peerless Price, and then he took a hit, and David Barrett went sliding out of bounds into the offensive line coach Mike Barry. There is a flag down thrown in the offensive backfield.
Illegal shift, 2 men moving, 5-yard penalty, repeat.
During that stretch. 3 wide receivers, quarterback draw. And Martin's across midfield to the 49-yard line, still 5 short of a first down after a gain of 10. Zach Kaner and Quentin Caber combined in the tackle, and Keith Burns said the other day, quarterback draw is always a big concern when you play T. Martin.
Well, he has such gifted running ability, and he made a big play there. There was an Arkansas defender right in the tackling pattern, and he just made him miss and made a very positive game for Tennessee, put him in a good down and distance position. And here's the shotgun. Sean, they're trying to get away from that line of scrimmage. It's a good adjustment by Tennessee.
The blitz picked up this time. Martin throws incomplete, looking for Jermaine Copeland, and he couldn't hang on. Kenoy Kennedy in coverage. The Tennessee coaches say Kennedy is the best safety.
And get your hand placement proper to catch that.
Leverton to punt. Rossi Moriali runs up to call a fair catch, and he handled it to the 20-yard line. Arkansas with the ball and a 14-point lead when we come back. Arkansas 14, Tennessee nothing. Just more than 10 minutes left in the first half. Arkansas with the ball, 1st and 10. Here's Chikuma. Is the tailback. Sterner changing the play as they begin at their own 20-yard line. That pass knocked down by Raynoch Thompson. Time now for our Aflac trivia question. Gave you a hint at the top of the telecast if you were paying attention. We said it was a long time ago. The two SEC unbeatens met this late in the season. We want to know when was the last time it happened and what were the two teams. I know you know the answer, Coach, so you refrain.
I do. I can't say because they'd get mad.
On 2nd and 10, Sterner throws complete to Michael Williams. Good move to get around Deion Grant, and then Raynoch Thompson showed his speed, running all the way. Almost all of their pass plays were 7-step drops, and that allowed the other teams to come on the pass rush with great vigor. The Arkansas quarterbacks were sacked 42 times.
And this year they've only given up 12 sacks, Sean, which is such a dramatic turnaround for their offensive line.
Quick pass incomplete. Looking for Emmanuel Smith. Well covered that time by Steve Johnson.
One of the things that Houston Nutt has really done well in today's game, he's taken the ball deep. Although on this particular pass he decides to keep it underneath, he has really sent a message to the Tennessee defensive backs and said, hey, you better back off. After that tight coverage right there, you watch. He'll come back and go deep on him again before too long.
Chris Aiken on the punt. Very good punt. Jermaine Copeland breaking tackles. And a spirited return by Copeland of 4 yards after a 43-yard punt. 14-0 Arkansas. Tennessee will have good field position with 9:52 left in the half. Tonight on 6. Cedric Wilson in motion on 1st and 10. Martin runs away from the blitz and throws. Was it a catch? The officials don't seem certain. Looks like they're going to give Cedric Wilson credit for that catch. Not a definitive signal by either official on that sideline. And now the crowd roars as they realize it is a catch. David Barrett had the coverage.
Cedric Wilson really goes up with one hand and reaches out of the sky for this ball. It's a great reception. It looks like he comes down with his foot in bounds.
What a catch.
You need 1 foot in bounds, and he's in, and the officials are on the call. It's a nice call by the officials and a great athletic move.
And a problem with the chains. At the rate he's improving, it's remarkable.
Yeah, and T. Martin has gaining confidence in him every week that they play together. And why wouldn't you with that kind of a catch he just made? You know, those are beautiful hands and real athletic skill.
1st and 10, chains have been repaired. Henry the quick hitter. Travis Henry dragged out of bounds by Kenoy Kennedy in Arkansas territory at the 36-yard line.
Cozy Coleman, the right guard, he's going to lead Travis Henry. Both Arkansas and Tennessee have run this same play probably 15 times already in the game. It's an off-tackle power play where you try to put a pressure point on the defense. Both teams are using the identical same play, and it's been successful against both defenses thus far in the game.
A 16-yard gain. Last 2 possessions, Tennessee has started to run the ball with some success. There's Henry again. Blake tackled by Melvin Bradley.
Sean, that's exactly the same play they just ran. They repeated the play because they want to get that offensive line power. They want to double down at the tight end position, have the fullback lead through, and then have a guard lead through and get as much beef and power at a pressure point as they can. And you can do it to a tight end or an open end side. Both teams are doing it effectively.
Henry quickly piling up the yardage now. He's averaged more than 100 per game over the last 3. Martin fires a bullet to Cedric Wilson. First down, Volunteers at the 19-yard line.
It's really interesting what the establishment of a running game will do to help your throwing game. T. Martin is standing back here, and he can count the house on this particular play. The offensive line has time to pick up all the pressure. Wilson once again runs downfield, pushes deep, and comes back for the ball. T. Martin right on target.
And that's an 11-yard gain. Philip Crosby in at fullback. Wilson, the motion man, almost went into him. Flag down as Henry fights for extra yardage. He has the first down at the play stands, but there is a flag.
Harris, the middle linebacker.
Offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
You know, to get a good running game going, your wide receivers have got to be unselfish. Look at Wilson here, trying to cut down the great safety for Arkansas, Kenoy Kennedy. Great block by him.
Crosby remains at fullback. Henry tackled by Zach Painter. After a short gain on 1st and 5, he got very little, just past the line of scrimmage. Well, and Philip Fulmer and Houston Nutt, we have two of the leading candidates for virtually every major Coach of the Year award. They've already been named, both of them, as two of the 10 finalists for the Football Writers National Coach of the Year award. Crosby remains the fullback. Short drop, and Martin throws it toward the aisle, well over the head of Jermaine Copeland. This year, it's going to be a tough choice for the Football Writers.
No question, and the season's not over. The last 3 games of the year is going to go a long way to determine who the Coach of the Year is going to be.
Coach's poll was tied with Tennessee for #1 this week. Tennessee #1 all by itself in the AP poll, #1 in the BCS rankings. Moving along the line, no flags down. Martin goes down back at the 19-yard line. Carlos Hall credited with the 3rd Arkansas sack of the game and his 4th of the season. He's a redshirt freshman from Marianna, Arkansas, with great physical ability, a 4.4 40, 42-inch vertical leap.
Well, the pressure from Arkansas today has just been relentless. And at halftime, Tennessee is going to have to be able to go in the locker room. Mike Berry, Philip Fulmer, they're going to have to fix the offensive line problems or the running back problems, whatever they might be, and get that pressure handled if they expect to win the game in the second half. It's going to be a real chore because Arkansas is coming from everywhere.
And movement before the field goal try. Hall was lined up to try a 36-yarder. And now it's a longer try for Hall. He hit the upright from 49 yards. This is a 41-yard attempt. Out of the hold is Benson Scott. Right down the middle. And the #1 team in the nation is on the board. It's 14-3, Arkansas. 41-yard field goal by Jeff Hall. Tennessee has its first points. It's 14-3 Arkansas, and the Hogs will get the ball back with plenty of time remaining here in the first half. 6:23 as Hall gets ready to kick off. Very short kickoff. On the run by Hubert Loudermilk. And Fred White made the tackle for the University of Tennessee. Well, it's time now to answer the Aflac trivia question. We want to know the last time 2 SEC undefeated teams met this late in the season. Well, in the month of November, you have to go back to 1971. Well, #3 Alabama, #4 Auburn went head-to-head. Both teams came in 9-0. And Alabama prevailed 31-7. Steve Sloan was the quarterback, threw 3 touchdown passes. John Hanna, Johnny Musso also on that team. Of course, that was the year Pat Sullivan won the Heisman Trophy as the Auburn quarterback. It's the first time since then, this late in the season, unbeaten teams have gone head-to-head in this conference. This is Chris Chikuma, shoved out of bounds in Tennessee territory at the 42-yard line. Al Wilson pushed him out after a pickup of 32. His father is from Nigeria and still lives in Nigeria. They communicate by computer every now and then. Chikuma again, tackled by Fred White. After a gain to the 39-yard line, a pickup of 3 for Chikuma, who missed most of last season with a serious back injury. Missed the last.
Because you get a feel for it in your hands, and you press it against your body, and you learn how to carry it.
He fumbled 3 times in the game here in Knoxville between these two teams in 1996 when the Vols hammered the Hogs. Right now it's the Hogs doing the hammering, and it's Chikuma with a first down inside the 25-yard line. Dwayne Goodrich, the tackler, after a gain of 15.
Tennessee's defensive end comes up the field on a heavy that create themselves in those defensive fronts.
Andre Hill in for Chikuma, and he's tackled by Raynoch Thompson near first down yardage again, about 2 yards short at the 17. Ripped up the ACL of his other knee, missed 2 full seasons, and has come back this year and is running just as well as he did before. Movement along the line. Might have been Darwin Walker offside for the second time. Penalty gives Arkansas first down at the 11-yard line. So they can get another first down without scoring. Chris Chikuma back in. Marvin Caston at fullback. Chikuma follows Caston. Nice cutback. And Chikuma's down to the 7-yard line, a gain of 4. Raynoch. 2nd and 7. Play action fake on the bootleg. It's Sterner throwing on the run, and it is caught for a touchdown. Anthony Lucas. One team in the nation in serious trouble on its home field, where Tennessee has won 13 in a row. Overall, the Vols have won 16 straight regular season games, but right now they're down to an outstanding Arkansas team, 21-3. If there were doubts about Arkansas because of the schedule that played prior to today, those doubts are gone. And there shouldn't have been anyway, because Ole Miss is an excellent team. And the Hogs absolutely demolished Ole Miss last week in Fayetteville, 34-0.
Well, right now, Arkansas is a hot team. They are fast, aggressive, and playing to win. To hit him, and look at Clint Sterner. He knows he's having a day.
Well, Lucas has some basketball moves. He was an all-state basketball player in high school. Was recruited by the University of New Orleans, Centenary, among others. He says basketball is my first love, but he elected to play football at Arkansas. Travis Henry rumbles out across the 30. Coach, you think it's important, very important, critical that Tennessee scores points before the half?
I think it's critical. I don't think Tennessee is a good come-from-behind type team this particular year. That doesn't mean they can't, but that's not their forte. Their forte is their running game, ball control, field position, no turnovers, and that hasn't gone that way for them this half yet. But if they can get a score here, it'll really help them in the locker room at halftime.
They have 2 timeouts remaining. Henry carried for no gain, stopped by David Barrett. Coming up in 2 minutes and 43 seconds, the AXA and Equitable Halftime Report. Tim, Craig, and Lou with scores and highlights on what could be a very important day in the BCS rankings, among other things in college football today, with Tennessee down by 18 at last report. Kansas State trailing by 3. Martin throws, man open, caught. Jermaine Copeland with a first down out to the 49-yard line before he was pummeled by Kenoy Kennedy, a pickup of 18, and a flag thrown for roughing the passer. They'll add 15 to this play.
Well, this is certainly going to help Tennessee's field positions. Little play action pass. Jermaine Copeland just runs a kind of a corner route, and the ball is well thrown by T. Martin.
Roughing the passers on the defense. It'll be a tackle on 15 yards from the end of the run.
A late hit.
It's a good call by the official. The referee is there to protect the quarterback, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's making sure there's no late hits on the quarterback.
Looked like Sasha Lancaster was guilty of the late hit. And David Cutcliffe says when Kenoy Kennedy makes a hit, you don't have to see it, you can hear it. And that was certainly the case as he put the hit on Copeland. Let's go to New York. Here's Tim Brando.
There's more breaking news which
welcome you back to Knoxville. 50 seconds of the clock running remaining in the first half. While we were away for the news update, Tennessee scored a touchdown. We'll show you that in a moment. This is 1st and 10 Arkansas at its own 41. Chris Chikuma stopped for no gain. And it seems Arkansas, even with good field positions, content to take the 11-point lead to the half. Here is the touchdown pass right after you went to the update, the very first play. A 36-yard pass from T. Martin to Peerless Price.
Peerless Price just ran by Orlando Green, number 21, the defensive back for Arkansas. Price just used his outstanding speed that time and just flat ran by him. T. Martin threw a beautiful ball. Got Tennessee back in this ball game. A huge play right there before the half ended.
And Houston not content with the 11-point lead at the 41 and 3 timeouts left with a minute to go. He didn't use any timeouts. And it's 21 to 10, Arkansas at the half. A half in which they thoroughly controlled the play. Here's Mike Mayock.
Coach, were you satisfied with the performance in the first half?
Well, absolutely not. I mean, 21-10, you're down. We've given up too many big plays, and we haven't made enough things happen offensively. I think T's trying to settle down. The pressure bothered him early, obviously, but it's a long second half, and we've been a good second half team.
How important was that long touchdown pass at the end?
Well, it was huge. You know, it gave us some momentum to go in at halftime, but hopefully we'll take advantage of it. That's the biggest thing.
Good luck, Coach.
At the end of the first half, the score, Arkansas 21, Tennessee 10. Stay tuned as Tim Brando, Craig James, and Lou Holtz bring you up to date on all of today's scores and highlights on the College Football Today, AXA, and Equitable Halftime Report.
Learn the secrets of martial arts star Sammo Hung.
Here's Mike Mayock with Houston Nutt.
Coach, when you went to bed last night, did you expect 260 yards of offense in the first half today?
We got a good football team. We wanted to run the football, mix it up with play action. Our guys are playing extremely hard, giving great effort.
Well, you're flying all over defensively. That last touchdown hurt a little bit?
It did. We didn't want to give up the big one, but hey, got to live with it now. Got to go.
Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Always positive, Houston Nutt. And that attitude has been infectious throughout the state. Back for the second half kickoff in a moment. Light drizzle still falling on East Tennessee as the second half is about to begin. Arkansas in possession of an 11-point lead. The Hogs will get the ball first as Jeff Hall kicks off. Absolutely no breeze in the stadium. And Hall's kickoff comes down to Hubert Loudermilk at the 5. And he's chopped down by Derek Edmonds short of the 20-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 17. We heard from Houston Nutt a moment ago. Terry, what do you suppose Philip Fulmer was telling his team at halftime?
Well, I think Philip told his team, hey, fellas, the first half was uncharacteristic of us. We turned the ball over. We made some big mistakes, gave up some big plays. We generally don't do that, but we're still in the game. We're only 11 down. This half belongs to us. Let's go out, establish our running game, eliminate those big plays, and we can win the football game.
Deafening noise as Clint Sterner moves under center. He had a big first half, threw for 177 and 3 touchdowns. He slings that one low and incomplete. Looking for Madre Hill. Time now for the AXA and Equitable halftime statistics. We mentioned the passing numbers for Sterner. Tennessee made up some ground in the total yardage in the second quarter. Uncharacteristic of Tennessee, 2 turnovers converted into 7 Arkansas points. Slight edge in time for Arkansas.
Biggest surprise there, Sean, is 269 yards of offense for Arkansas against a good Tennessee defense.
Madre Hill upended by Eric Westmoreland. Loss on that play of a yard.
Well, unlike the first half, the Arkansas line on this particular play didn't get any push, and they weren't able to control the defensive front of Tennessee. Tennessee seems to have a little quickness in their step. They seem to have a higher degree of intensity, at least on this initial series, than they did at the opening of the game.
Crowd roaring on 3rd and 12, 4 wide receivers into the game for Arkansas. A 4-man rush picked up. That pass is short and incomplete. Intended for Emmanuel Smith. a few unimpressive possessions on offense for Arkansas.
Boy, that is the truth. That's the first real unimpressive possession. They just didn't seem to have quite the speed and the intensity they had in the first half, and Tennessee seemed to have more of it.
Chris Aiken will punt it away. Tennessee should get excellent field position. 2 men back deep for Tennessee. Moving along the line, a flag down. The Volunteers look to be offside. Excellent punt by Aiken. This is Jermaine Copeland from his own 39. The ball comes out. And Arkansas has recovered. Eric Branch ripped it out. A 45-yard punt. There is the flag at the line of scrimmage, but it looked like Tennessee was offside. Hubert Loudermilk recovered the fumble.
Offside on the defense. Penalty is declined. Fumbles recovered. First down.
Willie Miles was across the line of scrimmage early for Tennessee. And Copeland fumbles the 3rd turnover by Tennessee. They had a great record in that regard coming into this game.
Well, there's no question this is a huge turnaround after an outstanding series by the Tennessee defense. Copeland gets stripped by number 7, Eric Branch. He rips the ball out. Then it becomes a free-for-all for the ball. Arkansas recovers.
Jeremy Flowers who recovered, not Hubert Loudermilk. At the 34-yard line. What a big play that is. Madre Hill stuffed by the safety, Fred White. Tennessee had the crowd in it. They're going to get great field position, very good field position anyway, and another big mistake uncharacteristic of Tennessee.
Well, as you mentioned, Sean, they were such a good team coming into the game in the turnover area. They were 6th in the country in plus turnovers, and they just have played uncharacteristically of themselves thus far in this game. It is wet, it's raining, the ball's slippery, but it is the same for Arkansas too.
You can see how well coached Arkansas is as a team in ripping the ball out. How well coached they are in general, but they really stress trying to force turnovers. Another offside penalty, it seems, against Tennessee. Sterner throws. Is it a catch? Yes, it is. Anthony Lucas, another big grab at the 18-yard line. A gain of 17 if it stands.
Offside.
4 catches for 125 yards receiving for Lucas. His 5th 100-yard receiving game of the season. 5 out of 9. Chris Chikuma. Tackled by Raynoch Thompson. At the 16-yard line, Jeff Coleman had Chikuma around the legs, and the second half has belonged to Arkansas. They've outscored their opponents 164-47. in 8 second halves this season.
Well, you talk about making some second half adjustments and going into the locker room and coaching and getting things squared away. That's an example of it. Doesn't get any better than that, I don't think.
89-23 is their advantage in the third quarter after those halftime adjustments. Sterner on the rollout. And he threw it away at the feet of Joe Dean Davenport. Good decision that time after an interception on a similar play in the first half. Nowhere to throw it. He threw it away. Not a great percentage, but boy, 184 yards on 9 completions. A huge number. You know he gets excellent coaching, not only from Coach Nutt, but he has the benefit of working with Joe Ferguson, former Arkansas great, one of 4 coaches on the staff, including Houston Nutt, who played at Arkansas. Of course, Joe went on to a terrific career with the Buffalo Bills. Sterner's been impressive in the cadence today. Several times has drawn Tennessee offside. Third down and 8. In the flat. It is juggled, incomplete. Nathan Norman, the intended receiver. Fred White had the coverage. Here comes the field goal unit for the Hogs.
This was well defended by Tennessee. Fred White did a great job breaking on the ball in the flat. It's a good series by the Tennessee defense once Arkansas got advantageous field position. Darwin Walker breaks through there, puts a little pressure on the quarterback, but Fred White with a nice play in the flat. Clint Sterner certainly has been a little bit off target with passes, but he's made the big play. He's been able to hit the long pass.
Todd Latourette trying a 33-yard field goal. We haven't made the shameless crossover yet onto martial law with Sammo Hung, but we're still waiting. There's Brandon Burlsworth, the All-American candidate guard on the Arkansas bench, and this is Peerless Price running back the kickoff from Todd Latourette. Little hesitation move, but he couldn't get the corner. Still another good return by Price. The senior from Dayton, Ohio, brought it out to the 31-yard line, a 25-yard return. Points off turnovers. 3 Tennessee turnovers converted into 10 Arkansas points, but that was a big hold to a field goal there to keep Tennessee within 2 touchdowns.
It was, and not only are points off turnovers critical, but you have to also consider the momentum it takes away from the team. Even if you don't get points, you've taken away their opportunity with the ball, you've taken away that offensive momentum, and that's critical as well.
On first down, Travis Henry ripping through. Fighting for every yard to the 48-yard line. Kenoy Kennedy made the tackle. Henry's a bruising runner, as he demonstrated there, and as a result, he tends to wear out the defense in the second half.
Chad Clifton, number 67, and Mercedes Hamilton, 75. They're the onside linemen that open up this hole for Travis Henry. Again, it's that off-tackle pressure hole, either to the weak side or the tight end side, that is affecting the Arkansas defense.
Henry over 100 yards again. Now here he goes again. Chopped down by Kenoy Kennedy, who saved a touchdown at the 31-yard line. 120 yards rushing now for Henry after that gain of 17. He has 120 yards on just 15 carries.
Sean Bryson, 24, is the lead blocker. He's the fullback. He makes a great block on J.J. Jones, the linebacker. That is what enables Travis Henry to have the room to run. Sean Bryson hasn't carried the ball today. He hasn't caught a pass, but he has been very unselfish in trying to help his Tennessee team.
They pound away with Henry. That's been the story throughout the second half, ever since Jamal Lewis went down with the knee injury. They've used Stevens and Henry in a mixture in the first half, but Henry has done his damage in the second half. His numbers coming into today, 327 of the 450 in the second half, using his size to run over the fatigue defense.
And this is where Tennessee is good. When they're running the ball, then they can mix in their play action passing, give T. Martin the time he needs to hit his receivers.
Everybody up on the line for that Arkansas defense. They try to strip the ball and cannot, and Henry spins away for another first down to the 17-yard line. Randy Garner made the tackle.
David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator at Tennessee, said trying to tackle Travis Henry, after a while, he's going to wear you out, and it's hard to tackle the ball. Arkansas is trying to strip that ball instead of tackling the ball carrier, and as a result, Henry makes a little spin move, rushes for the first down.
4 straight rushes for Henry. A total of 52 yards. Flag down. Martin scrambles. And is tackled by Randy Garner with help from Harry Wilson at the 15-yard line, but there was a flag thrown by the official along the line of scrimmage on the far side.
John, I think we're going to have motion on Tennessee.
Offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Houston not very excited about that call, but usually those line judges, they can see those guys. They can see them lined up offsides, and oftentimes defensive linemen, they want to crowd that ball and they misjudge the geometry of where they're at, and they simply line up offsides.
Tennessee on the move. The touchdown would get them within a touchdown. This is Henry, stacked up immediately on first down and 5. He got nothing. Ran into DJ Cooper, the junior from Mesquite, Texas, who plays nose guard and defensive tackle for Arkansas. And there is Cooper. The defensive coaches for Arkansas say he has all SEC ability, but for much of the season he's been a backup, running behind Melvin Bradley. David Peckliff, the Tennessee offensive coordinator, says Bradley is the most active defensive lineman in the SEC. We haven't heard his name called very often today. That's Henry again, powering toward another first down. Harry Wilson made the tackle. There is a flag on the play.
I think they got Tennessee. Nope. Let's see here, Sean. I thought they called Tennessee for holding.
Might have been a face mask.
The Arkansas players indicated it was against Tennessee, and I thought it was in the area of holding, but I think you're right. I think now the Tennessee players are signaling it's against Arkansas.
Well, this is the only signal that'll matter from Harold Mitchell.
We got a face mask, 5 yards on the defense, first down.
Literally Harry Wilson, number 44, the senior from Helena, Montana.
Well, you talk about a power back. Travis Henry showing that power. Good body leaning forward, knocking them north and south.
First and goal at the 4, the #1 team in the nation. Down by 14 points for the second time today. Trying to get within a touchdown. Will Bartholomew now. The fullback leading the way for T. Martin. Touchdown!
To his right here, and this great blocking by the tight end Eric Diago and the fullback Bartholomew. T. Martin has an easy run into the end zone. He's such a versatile athlete, taking advantage of his legs.
Jeff Hall's leg adds the extra point. They love it on the Tennessee sideline. The ball's back within 7.
Amex College Football on CBS is sponsored by Sun America, AT&T, the United States Marine Corps, and by Microsoft Web TV.
T. Martin scored the touchdown, his 5th rushing of the year, but Travis Henry did most of the work on the drive behind that offensive line. He rushed for 56 yards of the 69 covered on the touchdown drive. Hubert Loudermilk runs Jeff Hall's kickoff back to the 28-yard line, where he was tackled by Derek Edmonds.
That last touchdown by Tennessee was awfully good strategy by their coaches. They take their fullback, Sean Bryson, put him there, watch his block, and Eric Diago, the tight end, and then watch the fullback, Will Bartholomew. Watch those 3 guys. They seal the defense. They're going to block down. The fullback leads, and T. Martin just floats into the end zone with some great execution by Tennessee.
On first down, Madre Hill thrown for a loss by Sean Ellis.
Sean Ellis just penetrated the front. He got across the line of scrimmage. Anytime you get that penetration by defensive linemen, it's hard to get your running game going. Hill never had a chance to see the hole or to get started.
The stadium is shaking. Sterner trying to quiet the crowd. Throws, tipped, and incomplete. Deflected by Raynoch Thompson, who had dropped back into coverage in front of Anthony Lucas.
Nice adjustment by Tennessee. They've gone to a little more zone defense now because they got hurt so badly early in the first half with the big plays that Arkansas was able to get. They've gone to a little more zone. John Chavis, the defensive coordinator, making a nice adjustment at halftime, saying, hey, fellas, we can't give up those big plays. Let's keep that ball in front of us.
On 3rd and 14, just a four-man rush, a flag down, short pass, nowhere near first down yardage. Emmanuel Smith tackled immediately by Dwayne Goodrich, but there was a flag thrown by the umpire where you'd expect a holding call, and it is holding. The preliminary indication against Arkansas. That'll be turned down, and the Hogs go 3 downs and punt again.
Holding on the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Sean, how big is momentum in a football game? It's unbelievable the shifts of momentum that you go through in a huge game like this is. And that's why you preach to your team, we're playing for 60 minutes, guys. It's not always going to go our way, good or bad, but you play for 60 minutes, and that's what you do.
And that's why I made the point at the end of the first half about the Arkansas strategy coach. They had a 21-10 lead, but they had excellent field position. At the 40-yard line, a minute to go, 3 timeouts. They could have scored again, or at least tried to. They didn't. That might come back to haunt them. Cedric Wilson makes a fair catch at the 45-yard line. Just a 30-yard punt by Chris Aiken. Great atmosphere here now. The stadium, as big as it is not always very loud. And Philip Fulmer over the years has been imploring the fans to make more noise. No problem on that front right now. Tennessee has scored in its last 3 possessions. Arkansas has had 3 uninspired possessions in this half. They do have the 3 points as the result of the fumble on the punt return. T. Martin on the rollout. Throws, pop, short of a first down. Cedric Wilson out of bounds at the Arkansas 47-yard line, about 2 yards shy of the first down. David Barrett shoved him out.
Well, it's a nice play by the Tennessee offense. T. Martin came off a run fake, the play that has affected the Arkansas defense, the off-tackle play. They faked the off-tackle play. T. Martin just simply rolled to his left, had a wide-open receiver.
Now they give it back to Travis Henry. And on 2nd and short, he did not get the first down. Chopped down by Ryan Hale and Quentin Caver. Short of first down yardage. Really haven't seen Travis Stevens at all since that fumble in the first half. It's been a steady diet of Travis Henry at tailback.
Well, and I think Tennessee feels that Travis Henry's the power back. He can maybe wear down this Arkansas defense. I'm sure Philip Fulmer, as much as he likes to run the ball, he wants a big, strong, hard back in there pounding away at him.
Not impressive numbers for Tennessee on the season or today on 3rd down. Option, Martin breaks free from the tackle of Melvin Bradley and has the first down. It looked like Bradley would drop him for a loss and force 4th down in a decision for Phil Fulmer. But Bradley couldn't wrap him up. Finally, C.J. McClain and David Barrett did at the 42.
When you have a mobile quarterback, lots of good things happen to your offensive team. T. Martin, a great individual effort by him against Melvin Bradley. He's able to pick up the first down with his athletic talent.
Under 6 minutes left, 3rd quarter. On 1st and 10, Henry trying to get outside, and he's sent airborne by Zach Painter, the senior from Jonesboro, Arkansas. About 4.5 hours drive down the windy roads through the state of Arkansas to the campus in Fayetteville. He's from a football family. Painter's dad, Ray, played for the New York Jets after a career at Arkansas State, then went on to the CFL. His mom was also an excellent athlete, a world champion softball player.
Zach Painter came into today's game the 2nd leading tackler at Arkansas. He just makes a lot of plays. He's got a nose for the football. He gets around, makes plays.
He was maligned for 2 years as a starting cornerback, gave up a lot of big plays. He's much more comfortable in his new position, the rover. Peerless Price driven out of bounds, short of a first down at the 35. Here's Tim.
All right, Sean, off.
Notre Dame with just 1 defeat, very much in the whole championship series picture. Travis Henry for another first down. Randy Garner and Jeremy Flowers tackled him at the 31. They picked up the first down by a yard.
Sean, I think you really have to credit the Tennessee coaches. Mike Berry, the offensive line coach, Philip Fulmer, the head coach, David Cutcliffe, the coordinator. They went in and made some adjustments at halftime. The Tennessee offensive line is starting to really come off the ball. This is their style of play. There's David Cutcliffe on the there.
1st and 10. Martin going for the tying touchdown. Incomplete. Looked like it hit Cedric Wilson around the face mask or shoulder pads. Orlando Green had the coverage. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Cedric Wilson working hard against Orlando Green. You can't really see there, but it looked like Cedric Wilson had a little hand contact. Nothing that causes a penalty, but you got to be careful when you're an offensive receiver. You can't push off.
Career day for Travis Henry. He's rushed for 143 yards on 22 carries, 143. A career best for the sophomore from Frostproof, Florida. Here he comes again through a hole. He's down close to another 1st down at the 22-yard line. Tackled by Melvin Bradley.
Travis Henry's being led through the hole by the right guard, Cozy Coleman, 315 pounds, 6'5". He's able to punch a hole in the Arkansas defense and allow this power back Henry to fall forward for a good positive game, but he better be careful. The ball is awfully loose.
Yeah, that's a fumble. That was a fumble. But they had ruled him down, obviously, because nobody made an effort to get it. And there's T. Martin on the keeper for the 1st down. On 3rd down and less than a yard, he pushed forward to the 20. 1st and 10 Volunteers. They're driving for what they hope will be the tying score.
Well, and if you're Arkansas right now, you've played such a hard game. You're right in the thick of this game. You've got to find a way defensively to try and get this offense slowed down like you did in the 1st half. Right now, the momentum, the intensity is with Tennessee. Somebody at Arkansas has got to come up with the big play.
Will Bartholomew, now the fullback, 2 tight ends into the game. Henry, wrapped up by Melvin Bradley, the senior from Barton, Arkansas, one of the best defensive linemen in the Southeastern Conference. He almost wasn't eligible to play this season. He had to pass 15 hours of classes in the summer to remain eligible to play. We're at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, sold out, more than 106,000 on hand. We'll watch the 10th meeting all time between Tennessee and Arkansas, and this is the most important. Although they did play once in a bowl game, this has national championship implications today, perhaps. Out of the flat. Great one-handed catch by Peerless Price. Short of a 1st down as he goes out of the 12. Pushed out by Orlando Green.
Peerless Price makes a great adjustment on this ball. The ball it's a quick little out route. The ball's thrown behind him, but he reaches back with that right hand, uses outstanding concentration. You talk about having an athlete at wide receiver. That's what Tennessee has in number 37, Peerless Price.
He's out grasping at his ribs. 2nd season in a row with 40-plus receptions for Price. 3rd down, 2 at the 12. Option. Martin keeps. 1st down. He squirts down to the 5-yard line. Zach Painter had him by the shirt, but couldn't stop him short of 1st down yardage.
T. Martin does a great job of keeping the ball on this option. He comes down. Arkansas had played it very well, but T. Martin, being a strong runner, breaks 2 tackles, falls forward.
163 total yards. 13th play of the drive. 1st and goal from the 5. 2 tight ends, no fullback. Martin in trouble and tripped up for a loss by Kanoy Kennedy. The safety bursting through. A big play for the Arkansas defense. A loss of 2.
Arkansas bringing as much pressure as they possibly can. Will bring the free safety. He's right in the middle. He's going to walk up and be the blitzer. There's just an unblocked man who gets that penetration against the option play. He's hard to account for in your offensive front.
Arkansas coaches say Atwater, that Kennedy is the best safety at Arkansas since Steve Atwater, who's gone on to be a 7-time All-Pro in the NFL. That is nearly a lateral, but it is a forward pass, and a disaster waiting to happen all the way. Wound up incomplete, but first it looked like Martin had trouble with the snap, and then his pass was not handled by Copeland. That's very nearly a lateral. As you can see there, though, a forward pass, correctly ruled an incompletion. Then he paid the price when Kennedy belted him.
And what a hit by Kennedy. Houston Nutt knows right now the game could very well be on the line.
I think that hit is another example of why Kennedy reminds them of Steve Atwater.
Yeah.
Kennedy starting his 25th straight game today for Arkansas. Big defensive play here. Martin, throwback screen. Great move by Peerless Price, and he's knocked out of bounds by Zach Painter at the 4-yard line.
That was an unusual formation by Tennessee. They went with no backs. They had wide receivers all over the field. In Arkansas, you got 4 wide receivers all down here. And Peerless Price over here. And they throw a little screen, almost a touchdown, but it's a great recovery by number 37, Zach Painter, to save the touchdown.
And with 16 minutes left in regulation time, Philip Fulmer wants to take the points. The field goal from Jeff Hall from a tough angle, the right hash mark, a 21-yarder. No problem for Hall. And the ball's inched closer. Now down by 4 in the final minute of the third quarter in Knoxville.
We spend an amazing amount of time selecting our fund managers.
In the end zone, the Tennessee cheerleaders with a push-up for every point. 20 points on the board, but the #1 team in the country is still down by 4. They have dominated this third quarter. Jeff Hall kicks off. Time of possession 9.5 to 4.5 here in the third. Emmanuel Smith trying to negotiate through the traffic. He's down at the 25-yard line. Today's NASDAQ Amex Scholar Athlete of the game is Brandon Burlsworth, the All-American candidate guard from the University of Arkansas. NASDAQ graduated with his degree in marketing back in the spring. He's going to finish working toward his MBA in December. Says he gets a lot of comments from the opponents about those glasses. He resembles Clark Kent. Chris Chikuma. Usually after the opponents get knocked down a few times, they don't have so many smart comments to make about Burlsworth's glasses.
Yeah, I promise you in the fourth quarter, there isn't anybody commenting on those glasses. They're just fighting to stay alive, to keep that big old guy off you. Came to Arkansas over 300 pounds, reduced himself to 260, then worked his way back up to 300 or 305 pounds again. A great worker. They just say he's such a team leader. They love him at Arkansas.
Got rid of the fat, turned it into muscle. Came to Arkansas as a walk-on. Chikuma again, tackled by Corey Terry, short of a first down on what will be the final play of the third quarter, perhaps. There is a flag down.
Against the defense, first down.
Wow, huge penalty against Tennessee for a late hit. It would have been third down at about 2. There's Jeff Coleman, a starting defensive tackle, being escorted to the locker room. But instead, this is going to be a 15-yard walk-off out near midfield. Another big mistake made by Tennessee, which has made more mistakes today than they have in several games combined ordinarily.
Looks like it was Raynoch Thompson, the way Philip Fulmer was over there trying to get him scored away.
He's done that a couple of times this year. Judd Granzo has replaced him. The end of the third quarter, the score, Arkansas 24, Tennessee 20. We'll return to Neyland Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. That concerned young ball fan looking on as Tennessee trails by 4 with 15 minutes left in regulation time. 1st and 10 Arkansas, zone 48. Lynch Turner, pump fake, going deep. Lucas was stumbling for a moment, and it's incomplete. Well covered that time by Dwayne Goodrich. Well, Coach, you get the feeling Arkansas needs to get something done here on offense because it was a woeful third quarter after a very impressive first half.
Well, Tennessee clawed their way back into the game. They made some nice halftime adjustments, playing a little more zone on defense. Their offensive line is certainly coming off the ball better, and you're right. Arkansas's got to get it going right now.
We welcome those of you who have been watching Notre Dame and Navy. We're at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. Sean McDonough, Terry Donahue, and Mike Mayock. Clint Sterner for Arkansas. Had trouble, lost the ball, lost it again, but he was down. He was down, and he'll be whistled down back at the 36-yard line. Fans are booing, but that looked to be the right call. He had the ball in his possession on the ground, and then it squirted out again.
Clint Sterner just mishandled the ball. He takes it from center. It slipped out of his hands. It was just wet. He does a good job of recovering it. He's down. You know, the ground can't cause a fumble, but he was clear. I think the official was right there on the call. It was a good call.
You're just joining us. Arkansas had the decided edge in play in the first half, particularly for the first quarter and a half. It built a 14-0 lead, 21-3, led 21-10 at halftime. The Tennessee dominated the third quarter. Sterner throws. On third down and forever, Emmanuel Smith almost broke through that tackle and went for first down yardage, but he made it only to the 49-yard line, a gain of 13, but they needed 22, so they'll have to punt. Chris Aiken on the punt for the 7th time. And it's Cedric Wilson backpedaling to the 22-yard line, ready to return it. He has not returned a punt this season prior to today. Excellent boot by Aiken. He's had 2 downed inside the 10. And that one will be a touchback. The plane of the end zone was broken. And it'll come out to the 20. A 51-yard punt. Clearly a good call by the officials. The ball on the 20-yard line when we come back. Smokey with plenty to bark about for the offense in the third quarter. Tennessee had 2 drives, 7 plays and a touchdown to the first, 16 plays and a field goal in the second. First play of this possession, T. Martin on the rollout, knocked out of bounds by Jeremy Flowers for a loss of 1. Those of you just joining us, Arkansas raced out to a 14-0 lead. Emmanuel Smith, a 14-yard touchdown reception from Clint Sterner. And then Anthony Lucas, another big play, 62 yards. It was 14-0. In the second quarter, Jeff Hall with a 41-yard field goal, get Tennessee on the board. Then Lucas again from 7 yards out from Sterner, 21-3. Long bomb down the sideline to Price for a touchdown, made it 21-10 at the half. And we'll tell you what happened in the third quarter in a moment. Nothing doing for Travis Henry. They're ready for him this time. Harry Wilson leading the defensive surge with help from Jamel Harris. The Hawks took advantage of a fumble and a punt return by Jermaine Copeland, and Latterette kicked a 33-yard field goal. The lead was back to 14, but then Tennessee scored on a 4-yard T. Martin run, a 69-yard drive in which Henry had 56 yards rushing. And then after the 16-play drive got them inside the 10, they settled for the Jeff Hall field goal. And that's how we got to 24-20. 12 and a half remaining. Third down and long. Martin going long for Peerless Price, incomplete. Excellent coverage by David Barrett, the junior from Osceola, Arkansas.
Peerless Price is trying to go deep again, and T. Martin puts good air underneath this ball. He makes it a catchable ball, but it's just as you said, great coverage by David Barrett, 18. He's playing the ball. It's just an outstanding defensive play and a good job by Peerless Price making sure the interception didn't occur.
David Barrett played at Osceola High School. According to the media guide, his high school coach's name was Clinton Gore. Rossi Moriali trying to run the punt back. Speaking of the president and the vice president, they have a wager on this game. Of course, President Clinton is a great Arkansas fan, and Vice President Gore, the Tennessean, the great backer of the balls. They've bet 5 pounds of ribs on the outcome of today's game.
According to the press,
12:07 remaining. Arkansas leading the #1 team of the nation by 4 points. Big defensive stop, 3 plays and punt by the Arkansas defense a moment ago. And there's movement over the center again. This time it's Fred Weary. Darwin Walker twice has hit the center. Drawn across by the cadence of Sterner.
Dead ball, offside, on the defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
And now it's Fred Weary, the redshirt freshman from Montgomery, Alabama. Tomorrow on the NFL Today, presented by South for no gain. Tackled by Eric Westmoreland and Al Wilson. What a great story involving Houston Nutt at the University of Arkansas. Arkansas native from Little Rock, grew up as a young boy going with his brothers. But it is his lifetime dream to be the coach of Arkansas. He was already very popular before the season even started. You can imagine his popularity level now with their 8-0 record. Good throw by Sterner for a first down to Anthony Lucas. Andre Lott made the tackle. Houston Nutt was a terrific athlete out of Little Rock Central High School. Dual sport athlete, football and race. He played both sports there. Chris Chikuma carries. Deion Grant made the tackle at the 35-yard line. Let's get an update from Tim Brando.
Sean and Terry, remember, Florida State #4 in the BC. If there's some other losses by the top 3 in the BCS, fellas.
No question. The winner of that game would be very well positioned, it seems. Second down, a long one. Arkansas in field goal range for a long try from Latourette. Wilson runs down Chikuma from behind. And that's a loss. Back to the 35-yard line. It'll be third down and long, too.
And we haven't heard Al Wilson's name called a whole lot today. He's been kind of quiet over there on the defense, but he comes up with a big play here. He just simply tracks him down from behind and keeps him short of the first down.
Al Wilson, the Butkus Award semifinalist, not one of the 3 finalists named within the last few days. John Chavis, the defensive coordinator, said if Dick Butkus saw Wilson play, he'd want him to be a finalist. Here comes Wilson on the blitz. Couldn't get Sterner. Sterner throws, caught. Anthony Lucas made the catch for the first down. Great work by Sterner to get away from the blitzing Wilson.
Al Wilson is just inches away from making this sack. Number 27 on the blitz. He avoids the back trying to pick him up, and now he lays it on the line for Tennessee. But Clint Sterner does a great job of avoiding the sack and gets the ball unloaded. Boy, has Anthony Lucas been hard to cover today for Tennessee. He's been all over the field.
Steve Johnson started out covering him for the most part, but he's out with a concussion. His backup, Andre Lott, number 30 now playing. Chikuma finds no running room in the middle, but the clock is running. Down toward 9 minutes remaining. Chris Ramzour, a backup linebacker, and Corey Terry combined on the stop on Chikuma. Houston Nutt from a coaching family, in addition to his athletic exploits. His dad, Houston Sr., longtime basketball coach at the Arkansas School for the Deaf. Spent 35 years coaching there. His mother taught at that school, taught English for 35 years. Both have retired from those positions. He has 3 brothers who are in coaching, including his brother Danny, who's on the Arkansas football staff. Sterner throws, man open. Lucas again in front of Andre Lott. 15 yards and a first down for the Hogs.
Arkansas did a great job giving Clint Sterner plenty of time to throw this ball. The offensive front of Arkansas, watch him pass protect. He's got all day long to try and find Lucas on the sideline. Anthony Lucas with a little post corner route, and he goes high for the ball. Tennessee just has not been able to match up with Anthony Lucas today. He's just been a bit too much for him.
Al Wilson has gone out of the game for Tennessee. Lucas, 7 catches, 156 yards. On first down, Chikuma gets very little. Eric Westmoreland, Corey Terry on the tackle. So Lucas has 156 yards receiving today. Last week, against Ole Miss on homecoming in Fayetteville, he had 177 yards receiving. on just 4 catches.
Well, Houston Nutt came into the game telling us during the week that Anthony Lucas is awfully hard to cover one-on-one. We don't think anybody in the league can do it. You're going to have to double cover him. And when you do that, you take people out of your run defense. So that's the pressure that the Arkansas offense puts on you.
Now Wilson back in for the Tennessee defense. Big difference here, obviously, between a touchdown and a field goal try. There's Wilson with the sack.
Al Wilson just scrapes from the middle. He comes on a middle linebacker scrape. And he's so hard to block. He's right there. Just take a look at him. He's the guy to follow with your eyes. He's going to just scrape over and then watch him accelerate to the quarterback. He's got that great closing speed.
First sack for the Tennessee defense today. The 10th play of the drive for Arkansas. They've taken more than 5 minutes off the clock. He's trying to set up a screen. It's Joe Dean Davenport, and it's incomplete. The tight end couldn't catch it.
And it was going to be an Arkansas touchdown. There is absolutely no one in the defense. The Arkansas lineman had picked up the defensive back, knocked him to the ground. There was no one left. It was a great call by Arkansas. Watch the left side of the screen. Sterner's going to draw everybody there. Now watch the offensive linemen creep out here. They're going to knock Tennessee to the ground. And look, they got a chance to run right down that sideline.
Todd Latterette to give him a 7-point lead. It is blocked! Deion Grant blocked it. Al Wilson has it. Al Wilson down the sideline. Out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
The best athlete in that secondary for Tennessee. Watch him in the middle of the defense, number 7. He's going to go up on a middle block, vertical jump. He gets up high. The ball is kicked a little bit low. It's a great individual athletic effort by Deion Grant inside. Look at the Tennessee players. They know they're fighting to stay number 1.
T. Martin. First down, going for a big play to Price. It's incomplete. David Barrett had the coverage.
Boy, now what do you do if you're David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator? You took a good shot at him on first down. It's incomplete. Earlier in the game, they'd come back on second down and try to make a run, pick up 4 or 5 yards, and put T. Martin in a good passing position for third down. It'll be interesting to see the call.
Second field goal. Latterette has it blocked this season, and it was a big one. But now it's the defense rising up. They stopped Tennessee on 3 plays at a punt on the last possession, and now they're trying to cover up the damage done by the blocked field goal. Here's Mike Mayock.
Hey, Sean, I have focused entirely on Peerless Price the last 2 series since he hurt his lower left rib. And what's happened, and this is carried through 100% of the time the last 2 series. Every time he's been in the game, it's been a pass, and they have substituted for him on every rundown. Keep your eye both on his rib and the formation and the changes. Thank you.
Looks like he is hurting, and he's in now. Would be a passing down on 3rd down and 10.
And if you're Tennessee, you have to be talking about, are we in 4-down territory? Do we want to kick if we don't make yardage here? Are we in field goal range? Or do we want to come back and play 2 downs to make the first down?
3 wide receivers, blitz, flag down. And Jamel Harris with a big sack back at the 50-yard line. There is a flag down to the line of scrimmage, however.
Dead ball, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
Arkansas continues to bring the pressure. Jamel Harris, he's the blitzer. He comes untouched. You just can't turn people loose like that and expect your quarterback to have any kind of chance. What a series defensively by Arkansas after that huge field goal block by Tennessee. The Arkansas defense has been phenomenal this particular series.
The penalty stopped the play, so they had no choice. Ordinarily, you would have declined the penalty, taken the sack, forced fourth down. Tennessee catches a break in that it has another chance to convert the third down. Third down and 15 at the Arkansas 41. Tennessee, the #1 team in the nation, playing number 10 Arkansas. Arkansas leads by 4, 5.5 left. Martin throws well short of Cedric Wilson. And it looks like Tennessee will punt with all 3 of its timeouts remaining and 5.5 minutes left.
T. Martin gets hit late. Arkansas ran a nice inside stunt with their defensive lineman and brought a linebacker. They come clean. Melvin Bradley, 41, just isn't blocked on a little cross stunt inside.
Here's Leverton trying to pin Arkansas in deep. Rossi Moriali standing at the 10-yard line. High punt. Takes a great bounce for Tennessee. It'll be down inside the 2-yard line. A perfect punt by Leverton of 40 yards. The #1 team of the nation on the ropes late in the 4th quarter at Knoxville. And what a game this has been, regardless of your vantage point.
It's gone just
Norman tomorrow on CBS from the 1-yard line. Chris Chikuma is the tailback behind Nathan Norman. Sterner, play action out of the end zone, throws out to the 10, and some breathing room for Arkansas as Michael Williams makes the sliding catch, and credit Houston Nutt with a gutsy call out of the end zone.
Boy, you're not kidding. You talk about being backed up on the 1-yard line, and all of a sudden you throw a pass there, throw a nice little quick hitch for a positive yardage, and gives yourself some breathing room.
Clock under 5 minutes remaining. 3 timeouts left for Tennessee, 3 as well for Arkansas. 2nd down and 1. Tennessee's done a good job, particularly in this half, against the run. There have been 9 Arkansas running plays that have been dropped for a loss. Chikuma managed to find a seam there and pick up the 1st down out to the 13-yard line.
Arkansas has really done a nice job today offensively. First of all, they went after Steve Johnson, the cornerback. Steve Johnson gets hurt with a concussion. He leaves the game. In the last 4 passes, Arkansas has gone after Andre Lott, number 30, Johnson's replacement. So they really are doing a good job of trying to get matchups and knowing what personnel is in and out of the game.
Saw the CBS Sportsline stat of the game. For complete college football coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com. 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. Chikuma breaks an arm tackle, burst free. Chris Chikuma, 1st down Arkansas, dragging tacklers out to the 31-yard line. 18 on the run for Chikuma before Deion Grant made the stop.
We talked about Chris Chikuma and his power.
2 big defensive stands by the Arkansas defense here in the 4th quarter, and now it's the offense digging out of the hole at the 1-yard line. Movement along the line, but no flags, and Chikuma is stopped for a loss by Eric Westmoreland. But the clock is the friend of the Hogs at the moment, and it's down to 3:39, and Tennessee has called a timeout. And Al Wilson is down flat on his back on the field.
Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, on the run blitz. Looks like he pulls his groin right there, right before the contact.
Al Wilson has played courageously through much of this season with a very sore shoulder. He does not take part in contact drills in practice because of the shoulder injury. Now it looks to be a right groin problem that has him on the bench and seemingly unlikely to return. Chris Ramseur is his replacement. Ramseur played well at Auburn earlier this year when Wilson had to sit out 1 game because of the injured shoulder. Ramseur's a sophomore from Maiden, North Carolina. Right now, Tennessee has only 1 player in the front 7 who started the game. Everybody else a 2nd-teamer. And that pass is caught by Jodine Davenport, short of a 1st down at the 39. The Hogs will need 2 to move the chains. And for those of you just joining us, we welcome you to sold-out Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. More than 106,000 fans in attendance. Watching the #1 team in the nation, Tennessee battled #10 Arkansas. Arkansas has not trailed in the game. They jumped out to a quick 14-0 lead, led 21-3 in the second quarter, led 21-10 at halftime. But Tennessee has had an edge in play in the second half, and Philip Fulmer's team is back within 4 with 3:10 remaining. But they are down to 1 timeout left now and a huge 3rd down and 2 upcoming. Actually, they have 2 timeouts left because they didn't charge a timeout when Wilson was injured on the previous play.
Tennessee has made a real run here in the second half. They had some nice halftime adjustments, particularly with the dominance that Arkansas has shown prior to this game in the second half. They've been such a great second half team, but Tennessee's had them on their heels a little bit this half. But it's coming down, like you say, Sean. This is a critical 3rd down play. This is huge. And if you're Tennessee, if Arkansas makes the first, you got to figure out, am I going to use my timeouts that I do have left? When do I start using them?
Well, November's been very kind to Tennessee. An amazing record of 50-2 in the month of November since 1985. The only 2 losses to Notre Dame in 1990 and the memorable upset loss at Memphis in 1996. And then 35 straight in conference in the month of November. Huge play here, 3rd down and 3. Play action fake. Sterner trying to turn the corner. Out of bounds. And it looks like they're going to mark him out short of that marker. The orange marker is right on the 41-yard line, and it looks like they'll give Sterner the 40.5. But it was right in front of Houston Nutt. Corey Terry and Dwayne Goodrich reacted quickly. It looked like when Sterner turned the corner, he would get that 1st down.
Well, that was a great call by Houston Nutt. Little naked bootleg off the fake inside. And Sterner's racing for the 1st down. But watch 23, Dwayne Goodrich, and Corey Terry, 22. Watch them close. They've got closing speed, and you can just feel that mark. It's close. I'm surprised Sterner didn't hold that ball out just a little bit late with it.
And they're almost a yard short, according to the referee, Harold Mitchell. And now Houston Nutt has a decision to make. His defense has been excellent on the last 2 big stands. And he's going to lean on that terrific defense one more time. Perhaps. No, Sterner's out there right now, Coach.
Yeah, I think he'll go for this. He's going to try. I'd expect a quarterback sneak here. I really do.
Would you do this?
Probably not. I'd probably punt the ball. I think you're playing great defense. My defense has played pretty well.
Let me ask you this question. He's had great success with the Cajuns getting them to jump offside. Might this just be an attempt to do that if they don't jump punt?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're not going to go for it, one of the things a lot of coaches like to do is go up there and go on a real quick count, run the quarterback sneak, or try to draw them offside with the Cajuns.
If they do go for it, it'll be a memorable gamble. Right now, it just looks like the long count designed to get the jump. And a timeout called by Sterner.
Well, I don't think they should have taken that timeout. They should have just taken the penalty.
School pride.
Arkansas will punt after the timeout. Chris Aiken is the punter. High snap over his head by Benji Mahan, and alertly booted through the back of the end zone by Chris Aiken. Flags fly. Benji Mahan is the snapper, and Aiken had no chance.
Illegal kicking results in a safety.
And that's what Aiken wanted when he kicked it. He just didn't want to allow Tennessee to have the ball around the 10-yard line. He made the smart play. It's 2 points for Tennessee. They're down 2, and they'll get it after a free kick.
Benji Mahan, 64, the long snapper, just got it high. It just came out of the snap just so high. And, of course, Houston Nutt knows, but an alert play by Arkansas to take the safety because you're still ahead in the game. You've got 3 minutes to hang on there.
But now Tennessee can win it with a field goal. Before they would have needed a touchdown. Now they can win it with a field goal. You'll think back to all of the dramatic finishes, particularly early in the season for Tennessee. Their first game of the year. They won on a field goal by Jeff Hall at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, 34-33. As time expired, he kicked the game-winning field goal. And then in their win over Florida in overtime, the 41-yard field goal by Hall was the difference. Florida missed a field goal try of 32 yards in overtime, and Tennessee won 20-17. So if it comes down to the foot of Hall, he's been battle-tested under pressure and has come through more often than not. But still a long way to go. But they should get excellent field position. It's a free kick, and it looks like they're going to elect to have Todd Lederer, the place kicker, kick it off the tee. From the 20. Peerless Price with those sore ribs is standing back at the 19-yard line. 2:56 left. Arkansas leads by 2. Each team with 2 timeouts. Good boot by Lederer. Peerless Price from the 18 to the far sideline. Has a seam and goes out of bounds at the 49-yard line. You mentioned earlier, Coach, Arkansas. If you were them, you wouldn't have used the timeout before that decision to punt. Now they may regret using the timeout.
Yeah, I think they needed to save that timeout. But you look back on special teams for Arkansas, you know, they have the block, field goal, then they go ahead and have the snap over the punter's head on that play. It really, special teams have really hurt them here, particularly in the second half.
They very nearly had a block punt in the first half. From the 49-yard line, Travis Henry stacked up, Zach Painter and Harry Wilson leading the surge. Tonight on CBS, America's Night of Heroes begins with early edition, then Shannon Lee, the daughter of the great Bruce Lee, stars for Tennessee or Arkansas. Big plays still to be made with 2:12 remaining. Second down and 9 from midfield. Short drop by Martin, and he threw it away. And the last 3 or 4 times on the field, Philip Fulmer's offense has been totally out of sync.
Well, there's no question Philip Fulmer really doesn't like that call. Peerless Price turned inside. Philip Fulmer thought he should have gone deep. You can see how hard it is when you're coaching these final minutes of a big game like this. Both these guys worked so hard during the week getting their teams ready to go, and you're down here to crunch time.
Longest field goal of Hall's career, 53 yards, so they have a long way to go yet to get into field goal range. Right now they're just trying to get a first down. 3rd and 9. And Martin throws incomplete behind Cedric Wilson, who slipped as he made his cut.
Now Tennessee's just got to come up with the best 4th down call they've got in the arsenal, and know they've got a couple timeouts in their pocket. They can maybe get the ball back one more time if they don't make this first. Wilson is open inside. The ball's just thrown behind him.
And Martin, so accurate the last 2 games, has been off the mark today. 10 for 26. Tennessee 5 out of 6 on 4th down this year. This is huge. 4th down and 9. Perhaps the season hanging in the balance. Martin zips it over the middle. Incomplete. Broken up by David Barrett. Intended for Peerless Price.
It's a nice job by the Tennessee offensive line, giving T. Martin enough time. Peerless Price is going to run an inside route. David Barrett just makes a nice play. The ball hits Peerless Price. Barrett right behind it. Knocks it just a little bit loose. T. Martin getting hit.
Houston not trying to calm them down. Among those who needed to be calmed down, the defensive coordinator, Pete Burns. You can understand why he'd be excited. 2 timeouts left for Tennessee. 1:54 left. Chikuma, the power runner of the 2 tailbacks, stopped immediately. And a timeout called by Tennessee. Billy Ratliff, Eric Westmoreland in on the tackle. 1 timeout remaining for the #1 team in the country. In trouble in Knoxville. With Terry Donahue and Mike Mayock, today's game produced by Craig Silver, directed by Bob Fishman. We don't know where we're going next Saturday. Hinges on the outcome of this game. If Arkansas wins, we'll follow the Razorbacks to Starkville, Mississippi for the big battle between the Razorbacks and the Bulldogs. If Tennessee pulls this one out, we'll see them against Tim Couch and Kentucky next Saturday, 3 Eastern Time. NASDAQ Amex College Football on CBS. Second down and 11 for Arkansas. 1:47 remaining. One timeout left. Call it 12 to go for the first down. Sterner lost the football. Oh my goodness! He stumbled and fumbled, and Billy Ratliff recovered.
Clint Sterner comes out away from center, and it looks like Brandon Bullsworth, number 77, the big guard, tripped him up. He was on a backside protection, Bullsworth was, and he just tripped on the quarterback.
He put the ball down to brace himself as he was stumbling, and he fumbled. Travis Henry well in the field goal range now, down at the 28-yard line with 1:35 to go. Melvin Bradley made the tackle. First down, Tennessee at the Arkansas 28.
Sean, one of the things, if you're Arkansas, you got to be thinking about your own timeouts. You don't want them to kick a field goal with no time left. You got to be thinking, when do I call timeout?
And you're right.
And the earlier you use them, the better. Your offense needs time, not timeouts.
And we, again, think back to the decision to use the timeout before punting moments ago. Henry has a huge hole. Travis Henry inside the 20. First down, out of bounds, or is he? Yes, they will stop the clock, perhaps just to move the chains. But the play goes to the 13.
Sean Bryson, number 24, again with a great block on number 37, Zach Painter. That's what did it for Travis Henry. Everybody's cheering for Travis Henry, but I love those fullbacks.
184 yards, far and away a career best for Henry. He did go out of bounds. The clock is stopped with 1:15 left. From here would be about a 30-yard field goal for Hall. And they'll be conservative now, although Henry breaks tackles. Fights down to the 2-yard line. First and goal, Tennessee. Melvin Bradley saved the touchdown. Houston Nutt calls timeout. At least he wanted a timeout. The officials haven't granted it yet, and now they do.
You talk about Travis Henry being a second-half player. He's certainly come alive today in the second half. He is a powerful, powerful guy. And when you think about the loss of Jamal Lewis, when Tennessee loses a player like Jamal Lewis, but they can come back with a Travis Henry or Travis Stevens, tells you about the depth of the Volunteers.
Jeff Hall's ready if needed. They might not need him. Arkansas has one timeout left. Tennessee has one. 1:07 left. Shame on the people who were leaving Neyland Stadium moments ago. There are some who undoubtedly are in the parking lot trying to make a U-turn back in. What an amazing turnaround. Sometimes when you're having a season, really as both of these teams are, you're unbelievably blessed. And what a gift Tennessee received when Sterner stumbled and fumbled.
It just was unbelievable. As you said, he tried to brace himself from the fall, and the big right guard stepped on his foot. And I've seen it happen time and time again in football. It's just one of those things that occur sometimes, and it just happened at the wrong time if you're an Arkansas fan, at the right time if you're a Volunteer.
Full house backfield. Will Bartholomew, an extra fullback in as they send Bryson out to the wing on the left, and he comes in motion. Henry to the right. Stopped short of the goal line. Stopped at the 1-yard line. Kenoy Kennedy and Randy Garner made the tackle.
It's a great effort by the Arkansas defense to keep Travis Henry out of the end zone. He breaks it outside here. Watch the white shirts try to keep him out. He's so strong. He just falls forward all the time.
Arkansas elected not to use a timeout here. Bartholomew remains in the game. Bryson joins them in the backfield this time. Henry up on play after the touchdown for unsportsmanlike conduct against Tennessee. It's a 4-point lead right now for the Volunteers with 28 seconds left. A touchdown drive after the Sterner fumble, 5 plays, 43 yards, all Travis Henry over a minute and 15 seconds.
Well, he's been the workhorse this afternoon. What a great effort going up over the top, just sacrificing his body to get that ball into the end zone for Tennessee.
Saw the faces of the Tennessee sideline moments ago. They looked like a team that thought it had been defeated.
No question about it, John. And then Lady Luck turned.
They're just going to take a knee on the extra point play. It would have been a 35-yard try. Philip Fulmer apparently didn't want to block and a run back. So they just take a knee. Doesn't really matter if you're 4 points ahead, 5 or 6. In this instance, back for the finish in a moment.
In a world of constant change.
The way this was going, that celebration might be premature, but certainly Travis Henry deserves congratulations. Jeff Hall's kickoff to Hubert Loudermilk. Loudermilk is also a track athlete at Arkansas. He can run, but he slips down at the 18-yard line. 21 seconds left. And flags fly in late. And it's for a personal foul against Arkansas. Frustration perhaps showing on the part of the Hogs.
Dead ball.
Almost
Personal
a
foul.
200-yard day for
On the
Henry.
receiving team.
197 and
Half the
32
distance to the
rushes.
goal. First down.
Well, Jamal Lewis, one of the best backs in the country, but pretty nice when you have a guy like Henry to come in and take his place.
Oh, you think about the depth of tailback that Tennessee does have.
Arkansas has 1 timeout left. They certainly have the long strike capability with the passing game, although they'll be facing one of the prevent defenses of all time in this instance. 3 wide receivers to the right. Anthony Lucas, the only one to the left, and he'll double him up as well. Sterner in trouble. And he's across the line of scrimmage now. Sterner needs to get down in a hurry. He does, and they'll stop the clock to move the chains with 9 seconds left.
He's got a timeout here. He'll use
the timeout. I asked you this question. Would he have been better off getting up and spiking it quickly? Well, probably doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter, Sean. I think, you know, you look at this game, this has been a classic, titanic battle between 2 really good football teams, and both of them have had their moments in the sun during the day. I mean, it's been unbelievable, and it's too bad anybody's going to lose because it's just such a titanic battle.
And I think excruciating for Arkansas. They led all day. Led the #1 team in the country on its field all day long, and a very strange fumble turned this game around. It did look like Tennessee was just about dead and buried, and it was almost a miracle that that fumble came from Sterner.
You know, that's the truth. It was like it was just fate or something like that. You know, it's football. I've seen it time and time again, and you look around the country, it's so hard to stay undefeated, and Tennessee's #1 for 1 week, and look at the struggle they got, but they're playing a really talented Arkansas team.
Kansas State a winner today, UCLA a winner. Will Tennessee remain #1 if it is in fact a narrow victory for the Vols? Sterner out of the shotgun. Receivers running everywhere down the field. They tried to run the lateral play, but Lucas dropped the ball. He was going to catch it and try to lateral it to Michael Williams running underneath, but you have to catch it first. And Arkansas is down to its last play, barring a penalty. 3 seconds left, and they have officially 68 yards to go, 67 yards to go for the winning touchdown. Just a three-man rush. Sterner caught by Lucas, but he's on his knees, and that's the game. Philip Fulmer. On a cloudy night in Knoxville, played under his lucky stars. They were very fortunate to escape with a victory over this devastated Arkansas team. What a heartbreaking loss, the first for Houston Nutt as Arkansas coach. For those who thought they aren't for real, those folks were wrong. Here's Mike Mayock.
Hey, Coach, I've been around an awful lot of football teams. And an awful...
You gotta love us, huh? Boy, are we good on television. What an incredible effort by both teams. Our kids at halftime, there was no quit in them. I just honestly couldn't be any more proud of a team. They are. They're incredible. They have the fight to get it done.
I mean, the whole season and this game in particular, you want to talk about a team of destiny. It's unbelievable.
There's a lot of special chemistry about this football team, and I'm really, I mean, I can't even say it. And the staff and everybody just all into it the whole football game. I told you at halftime we'd calm down and get it done.
Thank you. Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Tennessee now 9-0, and here is the play that fans of both teams will be talking about for years to come. Clint Sterner stumbling, apparently tripped up by Brandon Burlsworth. The ball came out, and Arkansas looked like it was running out the clock with a 2-point lead. Billy Ratliff recovered, and Travis Henry capped the winning scoring drive with the touchdown. Tennessee wins it. 28-24. The fans are chanting their number one. We'll see what the pollsters have to say when they are heard from in the coming hours. Now for Mike Mayock and Terry Donahue, I'm Sean McDonough saying so long from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. We'll see you next Saturday right here at Neyland Stadium when Tennessee plays host to Kentucky.